guys, welcome back. You haven't seen me for a few days out there. It's been just a shit show here in the shop and I've been too busy to film. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, let's take a look around. We're going to do a shop walk around. So, I believe I did show you a video of this 64 Pontiac Parisienne. Now some people wrote in, I said it's got a 409 in it. Yes, this is a Canadian car and Canadian Pontiacs had Chevy engines. So it's a 409 4-speed posi-track car. No argument, no question, it is documented and paperwork showing and all numbers matching, and we do have all the stuff to show it. So there we go, it is what it is. So, what's been going on is, you can't see it, but the wheel tub on the Pontiac, how can I explain this? I don't even know if I can explain it to you. I can't even show you it. Anyway, on the wheel tub, the guy had used an Impala floor, okay? And the wheel tubs in the back, he'd used Impala. And they did not have the gas filler on the pallet in the same spot as a Pontiac. So we had to take all the old shit. That's why we got all this crap laying here. Because the owner kept all the original outer wheel tubs from this car. And we had to graft the parts from the old original wheel tubs onto the newer wheel tubs to make it fit. So you can't really see it up in here because we got this fastened on here right now. This back half is obviously red. It's not correct for this body because this body's blue because the body was so rotten. This is what the guy found. So we're using the top half, and then he's got bottom panels that we're going to put on. But again, the outer wheel tubs are Chevy, so the wheel well opening is different. So we have to take his new outer wheel tubs, we had to cut them there where you can see they're cut, and we have to use the parts of his original old wheel tubs, which are in good shape, along here, as you see, because this has the right opening for the wheel opening, and these are the lower half of the quarters from years gone by that's going to fit. So you got to modify all that. So right now we just kind of got the back end sitting on here, kind of playing with it, getting all the lines, because the trunk lid wasn't on it when we seen it. See the line there? The line there, getting everything lined up the best we can. It's lining up really good, because you got to try all this stuff. So you got to put, you got to go around and put a few self-tappers in, get it lined up and get things fixed up before you start welding. So it's on and off, on and off, on and off to make everything work, cutting, fabricating, welding, and away you go. So that's what's going on with the 64 Pontiac. Now, if you come outside here, because we got stuff going on just everywhere. Oh my God. Okay. We've got this 75 Dart that came in. Tune-up, cap, rotor, plugs, wires. Oil pan was leaking. Rear main seal was leaking. Had to do that. Had to replace some hoses on it, radiator hoses. I had to take the tranny out, get the tranny rebuilt, put the tranny in. Now I got to run it down tomorrow and get the new exhaust put on it. I do not do exhaust, but I have a really good guy in town here that does do exhaust. So we're going to run that down, get exhaust on it, and then this car's out the door. So we got that going on right there. Then we got the 59 Chevy. The 59 Chevy. Chris and I are plugging away on this thing. Now the box is coming off, so don't look how the box is sitting, because it's all sitting cockeyed. It's just sitting on there. But we've been working away here. Got mirrors on it, as you can see. Got door seals on it. Got all the felts and all the glass in today. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. I hate doing this glass. Most glass shops around here won't even touch these old cars. It took me a solid 8 hours to do everything. The time you get all the felts in here, get the window mechanisms in, get everything cleaned up, painted, all of it. It was 8 hours to get these two doors together with all this window bullshit. But it's in. Chris has got a lot of the wiring done underneath. He's got the instrument cluster. He's got the steering column painted. It's in. We got the firewall pad in. We got the heater in. We got the floor mat in. Gas tank is in, all plumbed in, hooked up. What else we got done? Got the new hood hinges the customer supplied on. Now the cab itself was sitting on the frame bolted down, but they didn't have the mounts under it. So he took all the sheet metal off the front, took everything off the front for sheet metal, lifted the cab up, put all the cab mounts in, then put the sheet metal back on, and we had to make sure the rad support in behind, it never had the mounts in it either, so we had to put all them in. Now we're getting all the front end lined up. So we're going to try the hood on this thing possibly tomorrow and make sure where our fender gaps are, because there is adjustment along here. You can push the fender in or out, so we got to get the hood on and see how the hood lines up. You always want to line the hood up with your cowl. See the edge of your cowl? Your hood should line up with the edge of your cowl. All right, you get it lined up there and you know you're in the perfect place side to side. So you can do that. We're going to get the owner's going to be bringing the front and back windows out next week. We'll get the windows in it next week. The engine. Chris has started doing some wiring on the engine. We got the engine, he took the valve cover off, we checked everything, we got it set so it's on number 1. We cranked it over and we cranked it and made sure we had oil coming up, so we did have oil coming up in it, so that's what's going on there. So you can see we got our table set up here. There's the visor right there. We got our table, we got parts all over. This guy's got so many parts, and we're even finding parts that have nothing to do with the truck. So when you don't take it apart yourself, it's a bit confusing. Unfortunately, it's a little bit confusing when you haven't taken it apart, so it takes longer. And you know, and then I'm going around documenting things because there's a lot of marks in this truck, you know, like I've been taking pictures. Here's a chip in the fender. You know, as soon as I see stuff, I take pictures. The city owner's not like, hey, did you do that? You know, we got the, you know, it's got a chip up on the door ledge up in here. It's got these big gouges, which the owner did point out. And then, you know, he had everything wrapped very nicely in the back, but even though it was wrapped, you can see it's left a great big, I don't know if you can see this in the filming, but there's a big, huge mark all the way down the hood. Now that's possibly going to buff out, possibly. And then of course, you know, you get the marks. You know, it's got some marks on the back here. So we will go around after and we will touch all these marks up when the truck's all done and finished. We'll give it a good polish. A lot of them will come out, some of them won't. You know, it just is what it is, but you got to take pictures of that shit. You got to document it. You got to show your customers because you don't want them saying, hey, did you do that? Okay, so that's what's going on there. Now, what else has been going on here? The Mustang. You haven't seen much of the Mustang because there hasn't been much that's happened to it. But anyway, we'll show you what did happen. So the little Mustang, I started working on getting all the control arms back in. So the upper control arms in, all new ball joints, bushings, all that stuff is new. These are all new. Spindle cleaned up. I painted it with a nice cast iron. I'm going to be putting the coil spring up in the pocket tomorrow and then throwing the shock in, and then basically this side is together. Okay, I got this all texture sprayed, as you can see, coated. It's looking good all the way through underneath there. And then the customer should be coming here this Friday and dropping off hopefully this front panel. Once he does, I can blow this side apart. And then I can get that panel, and as you can see, I got all this to still repair. But once I get that done, I'm pretty much done on rust repair on that. Okay, now, let's see where Mr. Sean is. Sean, okay. The Carmagia. Oh my God, the Carmagia. The Carmagia never ended for rust, which we knew. And as we were cutting through the rust, you saw the Carmagia had inches and inches of Bondo. You know, the Carmagia is round, curves here, there, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like a fine woman. Anyway, the thing is that you couldn't machine a lot of it. You got to sand it by hand, and the car still had a lot of filler in it, unfortunately. But it wasn't covering up rust, just a lot of filler. So Sean's been working and working his ass off. He was on it all last week and half of this week, trying to get this thing straight. And I think he said he's got a half a day and then probably a half a day to get her all primered up, and this thing's going to be in first filler primer. So to us, it's the rough end of the bodywork, but really that's 70% done. And then what he's going to do is block it all, then he primes it again, and then you block it and paint it. So the Carmagia, once it's in primer, 70% done, but getting to that 70% just took forever. I thought maybe it would be in the shop for 4 or 5 days and be in primer, but it took a lot more. And unfortunately, it is what it is. I mean, what do you say to the owner? If you cut corners and leave a ripple or a wave here and there, then you know what? You kind of screwed up, because you may as well fix it, may as well do it right the first time, because it's just going to cost you more to redo it the second time, right? But it's looking good. It's looking good. Now there's the... There we go. Oh, I hear him. He's over there somewhere. We're just filming what you're doing in here today. We're just checking it out, getting you on film.
Oh, you're not filming me, are you?
Oh, I'm filming you, man. I'm going to show you all your techniques here. But there's the Carmen. The Carmen is damn closed right into the jams. He's even got all that. So still got to sand the dash here. You know, get a few things, get a couple edges prepped here and there, but she's looking good. She's looking real good. Look at that old girl. And then we're on to the 41 Custom. So the 41 Custom, basically from the door back, is pretty much almost ready for paint. There's no more body work there. It's just maybe run over it in 400 and 600 and away we go. But we're starting on the front end now. Starting on the front, and the front needs a bit of work. The front needs some love. Yeah. But Sean's work, and this is a hard one. See, again, look, he's got to do it all by hand. The hours just add up. Yeah, see, he's got his, look at that. He's got his magic glove on there. He's almost like Michael Jackson right there. Yeah. But it's a lot of work. You're not doing any of this with the machine. So when the people say, well, why did it take so long? Well, if you can get in there and sand it any faster, go right ahead. You know, it's one thing you can put something on and sand it and make it smooth, but is it straight? That's, you know, it's got to be straight and look nice. So Sean's just going to town there. So that's what's happening with the Custom. So I think you saw the whole, I think you've seen the whole tour here. What's been happening? I'm trying to show you what else has been happening. Yeah, you're probably, now the Camaro, you're probably asking about the Camaro. Well, unfortunately at the Camaro, we don't know where the gentleman's at right now. We did get the pieces in, except we're still waiting on the rear tail pan. But COVID has hit some people financially, and you know, that's what happens. So it's kind of, you know, it struck him there a little bit. So, you know, I said to him, you know, I'm not an asshole. I said, well, you know what? I said, we'll leave it here for 4 weeks, and if something doesn't change by then you got to take it out. Then you got to take it out. So I give him 4 weeks, and if he can do something, he can do something. Either way, he's happy at the work. He loves the work. He's going to bring it back. Right now, though, some people just, you know, work has slowed down for them. We're one of the lucky ones. If anything, work has been just been crazy for us. It's gone overboard because everybody that was spending their money going away on trips and all that is now stuck at home, and they're either renovating their houses or they're going to do their cars. A lot of the guys I say, like, why? Well, because I've been looking at this car for 10 years now. I can't go on a holiday. May as well get this goddamn thing done and out of the door. So let's do it. So it's been good for us. The shitty thing with it is parts and getting supplies are taking way longer, and the price has gone through the bloody roof. It's ridiculous what it's done that way. So not my fault. Customers understand that. Explain it to them, and that's the way it is. So I think that's about it for showing you what's going on. I don't think there's much more happening here. I mean, you know, the shop's nice and got room. Yeah, the Pro Street truck, we're just figuring out some exhaust tips. We did get underneath, and we got all the box braces put on it, so that's good. We got that done. That truck, once you figure the exhaust tips out, it's actually going over to Sean because it's in final primer and going to get prepped and painted. So I'd like to have that truck, honestly, I'd like to have that truck painted by the end of March. So we're not far off. So that's it, guys. So hey, sorry it's been a while, but it's a good time at Old Time. We've been busy, and I've just been too busy to pick up the camera to show you what's going on. I've been running like mad, and but I know you're all out there, and I know you're still watching. So thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching again. Remember, I know I say it all the time, we're on Facebook, Old Time Garage, and Rick's _Old Time Garage on Instagram.